What is up, people? Hello and welcome back to the channel. Arsenal have beaten Brentford 2-0 at the Emirates Stadium. It was not the most comfortable we've seen Arsenal, but they got it over the line in the end. So go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new, of course. Thanks for being here. Hype it up and let me know in the comments below what we're thinking about the performance today. Yes, I was very interested to see the lineup and the fact that the Mikel Arteta, I should say, was resting Saka. He was resting Timber, and who else? Who else got the rest today? Let me take a look at it. Pulling it up right now. It was Well, I'll find it here in a second. Anyways, we started really, really well, and we were very good for the first 15 minutes, I thought. And then we got the goal. Once again, Mikel Merino killing it up top. I thought maybe we would see Victor Gyökeres tonight from the front, from the beginning. It was Eze. That's who it is. Eze got the rest because Odegaard started in the middle. That's what I was looking for. Well, at least he did come on later on, but he did not start. So maybe that's a little bit of a rest, we'll call it. But anyway, I think that, yeah, we were sensational coming out the blocks. First few minutes coming down the right-hand side, Madueke looking good. A couple of moves, couple of jinkies. I do remember, however, hearing from Chelsea fans, from my Chelsea friends, that Madueke does a lot of that. He'll do a lot of taking on his man, maybe beating his man, but then the end product maybe isn't as amazing as you'd like to see. And it was interesting because almost similar to Ben White, he would do something good, and then maybe the end wasn't as good. But then the next time he'd do something good, and the end product was a little bit better. So I think definitely Madueke's energy in the beginning was there. I definitely think his desire to take on his man was fantastic. I definitely want to see that. And it's good to see that maybe, just maybe, we might have a decent backup for Saka. Although I will mention the fact that as the game went on and he kind of faded a little bit from the game, he seemed to get a little like dejected, a little bit. Like when we came out for the second half, you could tell that Madueke knew he was going to get subbed quickly. I'm pretty sure he was told that they were coming off quickly. And he made the subs in like the 65th or something. Saka came on, and you could tell as it got closer, Madueke was a little bit more and more dejected. So I wasn't happy to see that, and he wasn't in it at all in the second half. But I thought he did start well, and I thought his willingness to take on the man is definitely something we want to see. The little cut and then the cut in when he took on the two guys and took the shot. Definitely love to see that. I want to talk about Ben White as well on that right-hand side since we're over there. I thought that his link up with Madueke and with Odegaard was fantastic. However, I do think he was a bit rusty. I think that he would make a great run down the right. He was definitely bombing down the right, but then his final ball would be poor or the shot would be poor. But then the very next play, his final ball would be a great pass, and then we just miss. And then the next one was, of course, Madueke gets the flick, and Ben White puts in he looked almost casual as he hit the ball, and it goes over. Merino makes a fantastic, just a classic forwards run across the defense, across the back line, and smashed it home with the header. I mean, what are you going to say about the man? Mikel Merino is when he came in, of course, like most people, I'm like, once again, we've signed somebody who's not a left eight. He's not really nailing that down. We've once again signed somebody who we're not sure what their role is. But this guy's role is whatever you want him to be. He'll do whatever you want. And that's why he's on the thumbnail today. That's why he's my man of the match. Got the goal, got the assist for the second goal in the 90th. First of all, the dude just works and works and works and works and works. I can't heap enough praise onto him for that part of his game. He's technical. He's huge. He's great in the air. And I think that makes him. I know I heard them say the stat that is he's got the most goals in the year 2025 for Arsenal. Let's see if he's got the most total. He has 5. So he's up there. He doesn't have the most for Arsenal. He does have 3 Premier League goals. I think Saka and Gyökeres are on the same. Gyökeres might have 4. But anyways, he's up there. I mean, never expected to be the consistent performer that he is, consistently getting G&A, adds another 2 today. I mean, in the end, and then to see the pass, and it's not something that you would expect from Saka to be bombing past his guy, but it was almost a short long without the second pass in the middle of it, right? So Saka checks back to Marino, and Marino maybe gives a little bit of a fake, and the defender bites, and Saka goes in behind, and Marino plays him in, and he's able to put it in eventually. It wasn't the cleanest of finishes, as it wasn't the cleanest of games from us overall, but he's able to dunk it in the end and get the second one to dispel the, I wouldn't say nervousness. There was a little bit of anxiety. There was a little part of me that was like, come on. We need to finish them off. We really, really need to finish them off. And it was kind of, when Thiago comes on, I'm like thinking there's no way that we're going to drop. I'm like, come on, don't do this. But I think after their little spell right after Thiago came on, and it was, a little spell at the beginning of the second half, which was interesting that they had a spell at the beginning of the second half and were winning more second balls and were kind of battling in that midfield way better than they were in the first half because they didn't offer anything at all going forward in the first half. Nothing. Let's be honest. And, that's why I say it was a comfortable win, but it being 1-0 for so long means it wasn't as comfortable. So it's kind of an odd feel about the game, even though on the surface of it, Brentford didn't really offer much, and we've won 2-0. I mean, let's look at the stats. They had 1 shot on goal. 6 attempts, but only 1 that was actually on target. They did have a mountain of corner kicks. I was, a little bit concerned, especially since we conceded near post from a corner kick. Horrendous way to concede against Chelsea. But we defended 8 corners today very, very well, I thought. Let's be honest, though. I will say that their delivery was not great every time. Most of the time, it wasn't getting past the first man, but we were able to defend those well, even though for a second there, it was like one after another. Boom, 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 boom. And that's never good to be defending like that with your back up against it. But after that little spell, I thought we definitely controlled the game better. We brought Eze and Saka in, and I thought that the game calmed down a lot more. And as it got older, as the game was progressing, and they made their changes, but we responded immediately. Mikel did. I thought when Damsgaard and Thiago come on, I was like, okay, they're going to be a little bit more dangerous going forward. I was actually a little bit surprised both of them didn't start. Maybe it was a rest thing. Seems an odd choice to rest them against the top of the table team, but I don't know. They came on and were all right, and I thought we held them off, didn't let them have too much. And I think it was important that we get back control of that game because it was kind of going a little at the minute, as they say. And in the end, I was happy to get the goal that kind of quelled all of that, And I think that this game, although it didn't seem like on the face of it, it was as big a game or as massive as a game, is certainly not like the derby at the weekend or the last week we've just had. But it was very, very important to get back to winning ways. Very important to win this one at home. And, you got to beat what's in front of you at the end of the day. And I think it was a good opportunity to keep it going, to keep it moving, to keep the momentum running. That's 18 games without a loss. And once again, I've left it 10 minutes into the video because I don't want to be complaining about I don't want it to sound like I'm crying or complaining about this, but it's a full-blown injury crisis. What's going on? Like, holy crap. Another injury today. Timber comes in, though. I want to shout out Yuri and Timber. Comes in and has a fantastic game at center back. Was very, very good. In that first half, we won every second ball. I literally made sure to count every one of them. In that first half, we won every single second ball. And I think Timber was a big part of winning the aerial duels, winning the first ones, and also battling for those balls in the midfield. And I think that played a huge, huge part, as it always does, in our having so much possession, kind of keeping them pinned in the first half. We weren't doing it as well in the second, and they had a good spell until we were able to once again control it in the end. And I think that it was good to see Odegaard kind of realize that was happening and got back on the ball. As soon as he was getting back on the ball, coming back farther to get back on the ball, it was a little bit more calm. Another thing I've noticed that we've been doing that's interesting is Marino and Martinelli came really, really deep in the channels to get the balls today when Rice and Zubimendi were marked out of the game. It's a very interesting tactic, and it worked to perfection because we were able to play out against their press really, really well. Although, to be fair, when they're pressing with two forwards in that 3-5-2 formation, we just outnumber their two pressers because they don't press with that third midfielder. So we outnumber their forwards in the back, and we were just playing through them all day long. And so it was definitely good to see that. Maybe we had an off day at Stamford Bridge, or were put off our game by how crazy, physical, and aggressive Chelsea were. And it was good to see that we were back at it, back at the pace when we got back home against Brentford and got the 3 points. So, yeah, like I say, very, very important that win to go back 5 clear of Man City. And I think it's Villa in third place now after the win they got today over Brighton in a crazy 4-3. So definitely important as the league. You never know who's going to step up again. Because look at, once again, Chelsea stepped up to third place for us to play them, second place for us to play them. And now Villa have stepped up and, said, all right, we're next up. And that's going to be such a tough game on Sunday. That's going to be a really, really, really tough game. But I am looking forward to it. I am looking forward to hopefully seeing Eze start, Odegaard start, Saka start, Gyökeres start. But how do you drop Marino? How do you drop the man of the moment? He's absolutely crushing it. So, we'll see. We'll absolutely see. And, so that's all I've got. Thanks for being here for the match reaction. Of course, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Hit the like button. Hit the hype button. And tell me what you think about the game in the comments down below. Of course, we will be back tonight at 8:30, live and direct with the regular panel with Nez. Of course, it's going to be a good one. We're going to be talking Arsenal. We're talking Man City. Of course, we're talking Chelsea. We're talking title race. We're talking all kinds of crazy stuff because we haven't been on in a couple of weeks. So join us for that. Once again, I appreciate you being here, and you will see me next time.